fireworks in the Senate Judiciary Committee today between Adam Schiff and Kash Patel, the director of the FBI. You should hear it all. Cut number 3.
No. I think the American people believe the truth, that I'm not in the weeds on the everyday movements of inmates. What I am doing is protecting this country, providing historic reform, and combating the weaponization of intelligence by the likes of you. And we have countlessly proven you to be a liar in Russiagate, in January 6th. You are the biggest fraud to ever sit in the United States Senate. You are a disgrace to this institution and an utter coward.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised that you continue to lie from your perch and put on a show so you can go raise money for your charade. You are a political buffoon at best.
Well, you can take an internet troll.
Take it to the bank that the FBI is protecting this country and the state and citizens of California. We are bringing historic reform.
Point of order.
But all you care about is a child sex predator that was prosecuted by a prior administration, and the Obama Justice Department and the Biden Justice Department did squat. And what did President Trump do? Bring new charges courageously. And what have we done?
Chairman,
you said I'm the most transparent FBI director in history. 33,000 pages of information to you. I challenge you to say anything credibly to the truth. Go ahead and run to the cameras where you want to go now.
Kash Patel won that round. Now I talk with Alex Gray. Alex is the CEO of American Global Strategies. He was the chief of staff of the National Security Council under President Trump in his first term. We have some trouble getting him. Why don't we get him by phone then? Because I do want to hear what he has to say about Kash Patel. Meanwhile, here's what Kash Patel had to say about the shooter today. Cut number 7.
Did Mr. Kark's assassin act alone?
As I've said since the beginning, Senator, it is very much an ongoing investigation, and I can't speak to the state charges. That's for the state to address on their own, but we are providing them with the same investigatory findings reporting the department. And as I noted to Senator, I believe it was Cornyn or Hawley, that there are a number of individuals that are currently being investigated and interrogated, and a number yet to be investigated and interrogated specific to that chat room. So we are very much in our ongoing posture of investigation.
So
I'm glad he's pushing back at Adam Schiff. I'm glad he's in control of the investigation. And I'm glad that Alex Gray joins me by phone now. A little video problem. Alex, when you were at the NSC and at the White House and Trump won, did you work with Director Patel at all?
I worked with Kash very closely, Hugh, and I know him very well. He was one of the best senior directors at the NSC. He was the president's chief counterterrorism advisor for a number of years, and just a stellar person as an individual. But the key thing, Hugh, and this is why I think what you saw in that performance and that hearing was so exceptional. You know, Kash is speaking as what I've said publicly is he is the most qualified person on national security grounds to ever serve as director of the FBI. You look at the backgrounds of every other person to serve as director, no one has more cumulative national security experience than Kash does. He was chief of staff of the Pentagon. He was a Joint Special Operations Command attached lawyer. He was a counterterrorism senior director at the NSC. He was a deputy director of national intelligence. It's an extraordinary resume, and what makes it so effective that he is in that position right now is this has become a national security threat that we're facing, Hugh. This isn't just a law enforcement matter. And having Kash in that seat, I think that's why I feel so confident about the direction we're headed in this situation.
You know, my former colleague, Seb Gorka, I believe is the senior director for counterterrorism now at the NSC. What is the portfolio for that job that Ambassador O'Brien was the national security advisor? You were the chief of staff. What was Kash doing?
Well, anytime there was a counterterrorism mission, think Baghdadi, Soleimani, think about hostage rescues, any of the high-profile counterterrorism-related incidents of the Trump era, all of those missions, all of those reactions to very real threats around the world, All of that ran through the Directorate for Counterterrorism run by Kash Patel. And so the extraordinary successes that President Trump had on the counterterror front in his first term, I would give a big amount of that credit to folks like Kash. Think, again, Baghdadi, Soleimani, the destruction of ISIS, huge victories over al-Qaeda all over the world. Kash's professionalism and his ability to execute on serious threats, huge part of that, Hugh.
Now, Alex Gray, you know how D.C. works, especially inside the Bureau and inside DOJ. There are a lot of career people. They don't like to be pushed around by politicals, number one. But the Bureau has changed from my years there in the Reagan Justice and White House and OPM. And the director's role has changed from the years of William Webster and Louis Freeh. It's not button-down G-men anymore. It's brass-knuckled. And after the last 10 years, I don't know who to trust in the Bureau.
Well, there are two things, as you say, Hugh, that have changed, right? You know, Judge Webster, Judge Freeh, they were, in their essence, they were law enforcement officials. They were respected attorneys who came into that world from the world of law enforcement as prosecutors, U.S. attorneys. That's been the traditional background of an FBI director. Unfortunately, the world in which we're living is one, whether it's these domestic terror threats or it's the very real threats we face from Chinese espionage, from Russian espionage, from Iranian-backed terror cells. The world we face is not one where necessarily the skill set for an FBI director is having been a stellar criminal lawyer. The skill set that I think is best utilized now to do the job of the FBI director, think Britain's MI5. Think something like a domestic intelligence agency whose job is to protect us from threats, not necessarily just investigate and prosecute. That's why Kash's particular skill set is so valuable at this moment. And then your other point, Hugh, about how the Bureau has changed. I think, we'll only fully appreciate it 20, 30 years from now, but the Obama administration turned the FBI from this incredibly respected across party lines organization into an organization that was deeply political to its core and valued a certain left-leaning ideology over being a neutral law enforcement agency. And President Trump in his first term made some progress towards rooting that out. But honestly, until this term, we have not been able, with Pam Bondi as the Attorney General, with Kash at FBI, they are finally making progress on changing the culture of the FBI from this progressive ideology that flourished in the Obama era, and rooting it out and turning it back into a neutral agency of law.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.